Welcome everyone to our first Horizons for 2024. I apologize for my camera not being on. I'm having technical difficulties, not sure what's going on with that, but I have my image, but we're going to get started. My name is Justin Maynard. I am the Marketing Communications Director at AUTMHQ. Tonight, we will have one guest speaker that was a former Automite and now a current employee for AUTMHQ. Before we get started, I want to share why we do Horizons. AUTMHQ wants to make sure we are providing all of our Automites with access and exposure to people who are in the tech space. We bring on these guests to explain their background and speak about the jobs that they do now and their journey on how they got there. Another reason why we do this program called Horizons is because of the problem we see in the tech space. Number one, the underrepresentation for Blacks and Hispanics in the tech industry. The way that we are addressing this issue is having these type of events where individuals share their journey and speak on how they got into the tech and also explain some tips to those who are interested in getting into tech. The second reason that we do these Horizons is there's a lack of talent to meet demand, meaning there are a lot of individuals that don't have knowledge of all these tech opportunities that are out there or know where to start to get into tech. And along with that, not enough people are interested that have the skills and the experience to participate in the tech industry. Horizons is one of the programs we have where we are engaging in bringing people into the tech space. This isn't the only program that we provide for exposure into tech. We also host a day in the life events as well, where individuals talk about their current career and what it's like to work in that specific career that they're working in. With that said, we're going to get started, and I'm going to bring our guest speaker to the stage, Renata. All right, Renata. Introduce yourself and say hello to the people.
Hello, everyone. I'm Renata Estes Brown, and I'm the marketing coordinator for AUTMHQ right now. How I got into this role, I actually found out about this role as an Automite, and I applied for it, and I got the job. So now I'm here serving other Automites the way AUTMHQ served me.
Well, first off, I want to thank you for taking the time to tell us about yourself, your journey, and, just being a part of the team. So we're going to jump in and talk a little bit more about your current role.
So my current role is as a marketing communications coordinator. And in that role, I help create content for AUTMHQ for all their social media platforms, their newsletter, any other forms of marketing, whether it be online or printed materials, radio, media, etc. I help create content for all those platforms.
Okay. And what is it that you like about your current role?
What I like about my current role is getting to be more creative and like really tap into my creative bag and see what I can come up with to create content that's more engaging and eye-catching, I guess, for our audience and our followers and our viewers. And I also love strategizing with my coworkers. I really like getting to sit and have kind of like a think tank of ideas with them to see other ways we can be more innovative and better market the great work that AUTMHQ does.
Agreed. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Now that you told us a little bit about your role, can you tell us a little about what you do outside of, working with AUTMHQ? What are your other interests? And yeah, just give us a little bit about that.
Currently, outside of AUTMHQ, before AUTMHQ, I was a freelance website designer. So I do like to do web design, help other people with their presence, their online presence. I also love to garden. So I'm working on growing a bunch of plants in my apartment right now. And I also am getting more interested in trading and investing. That's one of my ways of trying to take advantage of like the trends going on in the market and just become more financially literate and savvy with my money. So that's something too.
Mm. And so I saw, you speak on web design. Was that something you had to learn? Did you already know a little bit about that? How did you get into that?
That is something I had to learn. How I got into it was actually I was working for another organization at one point, and I noticed that a lot of the business owners that were coming through that organization either didn't have an online presence, or if they did have one, it might have needed a little work. So I found my lane and my way of like, how can I give back to my community and help other people take advantage of all this online web, like online money. And web design was my way of doing that. And how I learned it was actually just tinkering around with website builder platforms like Squarespace, Wix, Shopify, etc. So basically, I'm self-taught, just tinkering around, choosing different templates that were aesthetically pleasing and tailoring them to fit the business owner, and just noticing that people were like, actually, I like your work. Like, this is really good. And I was like, oh, so guess I had a little bit of like a talent there, and I just kept going with it.
Got you. Yeah, web design is something I still need some work in, so glad I have you to help me with that.
Yes.
All right, so give us a little bit about your background, your desired career path, and just give us some intels about that.
So, my background, I have a bachelor's in international relations and global studies from the University of Texas at Austin. My desired career path, my reason for choosing that degree plan was because I wanted to do more work with small businesses. And also, I just wanted to travel.
Okay. How does that align to what you do now? I know
Mhm.
that's your desired career path. I know it's involves traveling, which you're not traveling right now. So how is it what you do now kind of relate to your desired career path?
Yeah. So, I guess a little bit more background information of how I chose that career path is my dad's family is from Jamaica, and a lot of them immigrated to the United States, like a lot of other immigrants, immigrated to the United States to take advantage of more job opportunities that are available here, and more opportunities with education, etc. But what I found with my family, as well as a lot of other immigrants, is that a lot of them, if they really had their way, they would probably stay in their countries because of the beauty that their countries have as well. But the job opportunity just wasn't there.
Mhm,
So a thought I had is I was like, okay, well, if I could help people in other countries via small business as a way of helping them help themselves, bring in income online so they could also be able to participate in this global online economy, then perhaps they could have more choice and whether or not they want to leave their countries or stay where they are, or maybe have two homes, or like they can just be more flexible with their lives because they're
mhm,
able to better provide for themselves and not have to be stuck waiting for their country to give them what they need.
mhm,
So that's how I got into that. And so that kind of led me to here, because to me, it's essentially the same thing where we help Black and Hispanic folks be able to take advantage of the global tech economy and have access to that money and those opportunities so that they have more flexibility to live their lives how they want, move around how they want, help their families and themselves and their communities like they want.
mhm. And it also relates to how we do have automites all over the world.
Yes.
So essentially, you're still helping those and traveling in a sense because we are helping people all over the world.
Yes.
Mhm. All right. Can you give us a little bit details about your tech journey and how you got to where you are?
Yes. So what's interesting is, as you could see of like what I just gave my education background, tech was not my goal. So my intentions were actually to move abroad after college, but I stayed in Austin because I need to save up some more money so I could be better prepared to move to another country. But to get the money, I need to get a job. And when it was time to get a job, a lot of these tech companies in Austin were like, you don't have any tech skills. So what do you want us to do with that? And I was like, you know what? You might be right. So I was like, okay, well, let me figure out how I can get some of these tech skills. And from there, I had a friend that worked as a contractor for Facebook. So he helped me get a contract job with Facebook. And on the same day I started there, I also had gotten to a 9-month full stack web development program here in Austin. So I'm working my job as an advertising operations analyst, and I'm also learning how to code front end and back end development. At the end of that program, I quickly realized I don't like to code, but that's where I figured out that I do like web design.
Mhm.
So with that, after that, having those skills, I also ended up working for Google as a contractor. And then when the pandemic happened and I found myself stuck at home like a lot of other people did, I was like, okay, well, how can I continue to upskill and continue to be able to participate in this tech economy here in Austin and globally? How can I get some more skills so I can participate more? I happened to be scrolling through social media and I saw AUTMHQ was like, hey, sitting at home during the pandemic and you need some more tech skills. And I was like, wow, are they like stalking me? Like, that's my exact life. So I was like, okay, let me go on their website and see what they have to offer. And because I was doing more work with website design, I noticed they had a course for UI design, which is user experience, user interface design. And that would help a lot with web design because it's not just about how the website looks, but it's also about how a person experiences your website or experiences your social media or experiences any of the products you have to offer. So I was like, okay, AUTMHQ, like I see you. And the course was paid for by them, I think in partnership with Google as well. And so I did that and that was great. And then over time, at some point, I was looking for another job and AUTMHQ happened to be hiring. So they were like, hey, you have these skills that we think could help align with helping us push our vision forward. So, maybe apply. So I applied and I got the job and now here I am. So even though it wasn't my intentions to be in tech, it's very much still been a part of my life. And I'm grateful for it because it's been a great addition to my life that I didn't actually think about.
Mhm. And I'm glad you shared that story because that still relates back to the first point of why we do the horizons that we do, because a lot of people don't have the knowledge about getting into tech or where to start. And, especially during 2020 when a lot of people didn't know what to do um, when that pandemic happened. So people losing their jobs or being stuck, not having much, but this is a resource people could have been utilizing to gain more skills while they're going through this drought or losing their current position or anything like that. So definitely glad you shared that story because that relates to why we do what we do.
Exactly. And I think along with that too, it's it's really important to emphasize that um for me personally, I feel like tech has something for everyone if you really look. Like I think people think tech is only for techies,
Mhm.
but I'm interested in small business and travel and I see how tech is even helping me and even helping the people that I set out to help too. So even if you're not a techie, like tech can still have something for you and help you along your journey.
Exactly. All right. So you told us a little bit about your background, your current role, in your career path that you wanted to go after. What are some things you would do differently and why?
Some some things I would do differently is to do it afraid. Whatever you're doing, do it afraid. Find mentors and be clear on what you want and don't back down. So the first one about doing it afraid, when I first was looking for jobs and I didn't have any tech skills, I was really scared to try and get into the tech industry because I was like, I didn't get my degree in this. I haven't taken any certifications or courses in this. I don't even know what to expect. So maybe I should just find something else to do. Like maybe tech isn't for me since tech wasn't where I started. But I had friends along the way that were like, you don't have to be a techie or had gotten a degree in computer science or done a boot camp. Like you didn't have to have done all these things to get into tech. You can still find a way in there. And even if you're scared, that's okay. Like, you don't know everything. We don't know everything. Everybody's figuring out everything as they go, and you can do that too. So I was like, okay, cool. And now here I am, like years later, still enmeshed in tech. And something that helped with that too is finding mentors. So what I do like that AUTMHQ does is they do their best to pair you with mentors in your industry or in your field, that can help you. Like with me doing UX, their UX program, it was like, okay, we'll hook you up with a UX designer so they can tell you how your resume should look, what your portfolio should look like, some of the things you should be prepared to say or share during interviews, some things that you should know. They helped me a lot to kind of ease my anxiety or any fears I had about, like, oh, I don't know what this is for me. The mentors were like, hey, all of us, some of us took the non-traditional path to get here too, and that's okay. So having people in the game that they may have gotten there traditionally or non-traditionally helps. And then also being clear on what you want and don't back down. So for me, my goal wasn't initially tech, and I stuck beside that. I was like, hey, I'm gonna get into tech so I can meet this other goal I have. And I feel like that's perfectly fine, because at the end of the day, tech is a vehicle to get you and your family and your community where you want. Like, you don't have to be like, I'm doing tech because I'm super duper passionate about it and I'm a genius. And I like, sometimes it can be like, this is a way to help me help my family, if that's your primary goal. So just be clear, and like, whatever your goal is, like, stick with it. Because tech can help you get there too, honestly.
Agreed. Thank you for sharing that. And moving to the next one. You are where you are right now. This wasn't your, desired journey, but you are here in tech now. What's the biggest piece of advice you would share with someone who wants to get into tech or is thinking about getting into tech?
Yeah, I would say my biggest piece of advice is to come up with a big picture plan and stick to it. And in terms of getting into tech and sticking with tech, think of tech as like another vein or another part of your big picture plan. So your big picture plan could even be like, oh, I want to be an author, and also I want to become a very popular gamer or an athlete or something, I don't know. That can still be your plan, but tech can be like, okay, tech offers you the platform to publicize your work and, like, showcase your work to larger audiences around the world if you use tech right. Or I forgot what's the other example I gave, but whatever your bigger plan is, you can stick to it. Just know that tech is here to help you get there.
Thank you for sharing that piece of advice. Well, that concludes um, our horizons for today. Renata, thank you so much for sharing your tips, your journey, your background, and all the advice you have given the audience who is viewing. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Um,
Thank
so
y'all for
I'll,
having me.
of course, and for anyone who's willing or wants to share their story of how they got into tech or where they are today, feel free to scan this QR code or even go to AUTMHQ and contact us and give us an email, and we will be glad to share your story and have a horizon with you as well. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This was great. This is our first Horizons. We have plenty more for the rest of the year. Be sure to follow us on social media at AUTMHQ to see our next upcoming events, whether it be a Horizons or any community events that we have going on, or visit our website. Thank you, everyone.